Hello and welcome. Good morning, good evening, good midday. Welcome to our community empowerment training. I'm Sylvia Becker-Hill and I'm so delighted to have you joining me here today again live or here in the replay on YouTube. We start with our ritual of grounding ourselves in the present moment to become aligned with all our scattered in the world and life energy and attention here into the moment. It's a very fun exercise. Please, if you are following along, you're responsible for your own safety and health. We call it the happy three. I think we called it the happy three last time, right? So we always count on three and we start with our hands and we clap them 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now gently, we will shake them out 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now we cross them over our shoulders and clap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now we wake up our brain hemispheres and tap gently on our brain hemispheres. 1, 2, 3. To ground ourselves, this is hard for me to show. I'm sitting on a chair, so I literally lift both my legs, my knees, and stomp 3 times on the floor to ground ourselves in the spot where we are. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And the last thing is we jubilant and happy, we throw our arms 3 times to the sky. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath and come into the here and now and sense how your whole body, my body is right now vibrating a bit and feels a kick more awake and vibrant and alive, and my brain is buzzing with all the ideas of what I want to share with you here today. Today we are officially in a series at the last part 4 of Stop the Judge-Mania, how to be more kind with yourself as a tagline. And today we are completing it by adding to the perspective of the last 3 sessions. The last 3 sessions were literally focusing on our brain, where the judge-mania comes from, how it shows up. We learned important distinctions. We had several here on posters. Please, if you have missed any of the last 3 parts, you can watch them on the replay on our lovely YouTube channel, the Juicy Life Leader TV. Please watch them because they all had important nuggets. And today I'm adding to the perspective of our judgment being either projected out into the world on others or onto ourselves. Now, today we talk about, how do we manage, how do we stop the judge-mania when other people are judging us and we start to feel hurt, uncomfortable, triggered, and have this broken record in our mind where the external judgment, someone says words, land so strongly in our head that we are repeating them to ourselves. So we are not going, this would be another training, into the communication training or conflict management training. How do we stop the other person from judging? That's another topic for another time. Today we focus on, still in our own brain, how do we stop the judge-mania, just that this time the trigger, the start, came from outside. And I want you, now here live or watching the replay, to think about, literally, it's always best here when learning with me, when you choose a real example from your own life, and everything I give you today, apply it to that so that you can literally sense in your own body and in your brain the shift, which is a deeper form of learning. And then you can generalize it and apply it to other situations from the past, if there's still something stuck in your brain, or obviously, hopefully in the future, protect yourself to let this kind of imprint not go as deep. Because sadly, we all know those painful long stories, and we see them sometimes in soap operas on TV, or we witness them on family gatherings where people sadly explode with each other, have a conflict, and literally fight over who said what and when, and why is that the cause for the other person to say what and when, sometimes years, sometimes decades ago. ask divorce lawyers and divorce judges. Yeah, sometimes people fight over things, over you blamed me for breaking your aunt's Christmas gift in 1987. And from there, our marriage went downhill, right? So it's really a skill to be able to get these kind of judgments and stuck records calm in our mind. You also know that I try to ground everything we learn here in neuroscience, in our beloved brain, which I have now behind my easel and leave it there, because you all have your beautiful brain with you and can touch it if you really want to integrate some things. So first of all, where is this kind of broken record thing coming from? And this is really interesting. I forgot who shared that example with me. It's coming from cooking, and I'm not a great cook, but anyway, I'm using it. So once someone told me, and I never checked it in my kitchen, but I hope the metaphor will work for you. If you have, for example, a block of butter, yeah, this orange thing shall symbolize a block of butter, and you want to melt it, what you can do is you can pour hot water. Well, water should be in blue. Let me take blue. And you pour hot water droplets, hot water in here. The butter starts to melt where the hot water is coming in and starts to create this kind of canyon in the block, and the liquidized butter flows out. How do you call this kind of canyon? Is it a crevice? Is that called a crevice? Okay. So when there is a crevice in the butter, and it could be any other kind of food which has substancy like that, when you now come with a knife and you try to cut the butter in even slices, where will the knife high likely end? Where will be the cut happening? Right of the crevice, left of the crevice, or in the crevice? When you have the butter in front of you and you want to cut. In the crevice, exactly. Why?
It's path of least resistance.
Exactly, it's a path of least resistance. And it's also another cool example, and I use the same piece of paper to make it easy. When you go into a forest, or maybe in your own garden, backyard if you have one, and forget now the butter, you have a lawn with lots of grass, high grass, maybe it's even nearly a meadow. Where do people have a tendency to walk through? Where do they normally walk?
The middle.
The middle, yes. And where else? What if there is something already? What attracts them? Where do people go? Sorry, say it again.
If there's a path.
Exactly. If someone already stomps through and there is a path where some grasses are stomped down and laying flat, the next person walks over there. What does the next person do? Walks over there, and the next person, and the next family, and the dogs, and suddenly the grass is not only stomped down, it's literally trampled dead. Is that an English word? It's walked dead, and suddenly you have a tiny path. And then depending if it's in a public park, you often see that suddenly it becomes a really wide thing. And one day the gardeners of the park realize, okay, people are always taking this shortcut. Let's make it an official path and roll out here some stones. So my point is, these kind of metaphors, they symbolize some kind of biological, physical law in the universe, that when there is already a tiny kind of crevice or a path, the next action that follows goes into that. So that means in our brain, when you think about the neurocells, here my fingers are now the network, if there is already a connection between different neural circuits, where, for example, there is maybe self-doubt, or there is maybe a self-judgment. So there is already a crevice in your beautiful cheese of the brain, to use this metaphor. And now someone comes and says from outside a judgment or something which is connected with your already existing self-doubt or self-judgment, or says something not connected with something negative in you. But for example, I had an example last week where someone attacked me, criticizing me for something which is connected with a value of mine, which is very important for me, and where I'm proud, which is not something negative, but it's an emotional charge. Remember our discussions about charge? As soon there is charge, there is importance. So when someone from the outside attacks me, criticizes me, judges me, where there is already in me this path, there is like the crevice, there is already a container for that judgment to land in, what happens? Well, like the knife with the butter, it lands in that crevice. And then we have this old record spinning syndrome. Once it's stuck in that crevice, it's really sometimes, sorry, the F word, effing hard to get out, to stop this thought spinning. Hi, welcome, Dari. So happy to see you. So please don't be mad on yourself or think, oh my gosh, I'm going nuts here, I'm going cuckoo. I can't get this stupid judgment thought out of my mind. Or, we all know the sometimes nice phenomena when you hear a song, even if it's a stupid song, or even if it's a song you don't like, sometimes songs get stuck in our heads in this kind of, symbolically speaking, metaphorically speaking, crevice in our neural circuits, and we don't get them out. A song is not that much of an issue, but if it's a painful judgment, and there are people, my beloved dad, he died when he was 86, throughout his whole life, one of his core identity beliefs he didn't get out of the multiple crevices of his brain was. And I learned about that when I was probably in my 30s, and I was already a phenomenal coach. And you have no idea how painful it was for me to accept that my father was not coachable and didn't want my help. He had in a deep crevice, and I bring this example honoring him, even though it's a very negative belief. And he got it from his family members when he was young and growing up. He believed deep down, I'm just the asshole of the family. I'm just the asshole of the family. So imagine you have a thought like this, something you hear it's an early child, you are too no good, or you are lazy, or, oh my gosh, yeah, you are so fat. How do you think anyone could ever love you? So if you have these kind of thoughts heard several times as a young child, and you are still in the sensitive age where your brain is like a sponge taking in everything, literally everything, and you have no filters yet established, and then you run around your whole life with a crevice, and one of these beliefs gets stuck. And now you live your life projecting that stuck thought into the world. Are we all clear that this is a problem, that this hurts? Yeah. So here, if you have our one sheet, this would be now here the topic, yeah, and the costs, the consequences. My father never got really good jobs. Yes, one reason was Second World War, nearly no education, only a bit elementary school. But on the other hand was, in every interview he went, in the back of his mind was the old record, you're just the asshole of the family, you are just too stupid. I mean, how do you convince anyone to hire you when you come with that projection, with that belief into the situation? So whatever stuck thought we have, We probably can never get rid of all stuck thoughts. Let's make sure it's a nice one. Let's make sure it's a caring, kind, self-loving, empowering thought. So this is the problem, and the cost, it can literally cost you your life. It can cost you your success, your relationships, money. When the wrong thoughts of judgment from outside get stuck in your neural circuits, it can cost you everything. I believe that some suicides are the result of these horrible, horrible thoughts people could not get out. For me, there's a difference between, someone being terminally ill, having excruciating pain, even morphine can't numb down, and, and they choose to end their life. That's different from, a teenager or someone in their early 20s, physically healthy, but not being able to go on with life because they have some thoughts in their mind, which is like a tyranny. Is that correctly pronounced? As an English word, the tyranny of thoughts. Yeah, like demons. Horrible, horrible. So, all clear about the problem? Can you all relate? Do you know it from yourself or someone else? How horrible it is? I have one of those golden nuggets now, which makes me giddy, because when I had the issue last week with, it was a voice message on Facebook Messenger. I'm close to deleting this whole app because somehow people think they can send me all sorts of messages there. Someone had sent me 7 messages. Can you imagine? 7? And I'm so proud. I just started the first and stopped it after a few seconds because I already sensed the energy is not good, the content is negative, and what the person is projecting onto me has nothing to do with me. So I stopped the first and didn't even read the rest. I'm so proud. Yay. So boundary setting is important. And yet the first, 12 seconds, 14 seconds were enough to get something in a crevice of my brain, because that person projected something onto me which would have been a violation of one of my values, where I have a positive charge on, where I'm proud to be good at. It was about friendship. I believe I'm a good friend. And that person attacked me saying, no, you're not. Wow, that hurt. It hurt. So these kind of thoughts, they hurt. And that's okay. What is not okay is when they get stuck and then we are repeating the hurting ourselves. So first it's someone else. Ooh, there's an arm coming out of the universe. This looks really beautiful and a bit creepy. Of the universe background. Ooh. So the problem is with these judgments, someone else says them once, and saying that is their responsibility. Landing in us and our reaction is then our responsibility. And then repeating it and hurting ourselves again and again and again by repeating that old thought, this is completely our responsibility. So, have I warmed you all up enough to get to learn the hook, how to get it out, how I got out this voice from last week, from the Facebook message out of my brain? Okay. And it's connected with a few things we have already discussed in recent weeks. Who of you remembers a core sentence from Change Management 101? I mentioned it, I think, in 3 of our Tuesday episodes. What is one rule in Change Management 101? Come on, now you can show up as a super student. What is one of the core laws in change management? Who remembers it?
Is it the one about your engagement?
No, that's the one, that's not so much change, it's about learning psychology. Yeah, my information doesn't provide your transformation, your engagement does. That's about us here, how we learn. That's one of our memes as a community. Who remembers in Change Management 101, which is like a side topic in all our sessions, because I'm empowering you to change yourself. And one of the core things, it's a beautiful rhyme in English. It's 3 words. No, it's 4. Yeah, 4 words. I say it in 5 seconds. 4 words. Say it in 5 seconds if no one remembers.
Let love lead always.
I love that. It's a good meme for our community, but it's not Change Management 101. It is what you resist,
Oh,
persist. Come on, can you all unmute yourself? And we say it 3 times, because seriously, this is a life-changing concept I want you to remember. So everyone unmute. I'm the conductor and we say it together. What you resist, persist. What you resist, persist. What you resist, persist. Yes. Remember, and I'm not going into that. I want people in the replay watch the other parts, but remember us here with the hand and the stove, etc. Right? This is neurobiology. This is evolution. What we are wired negative, right? I'm throwing here some nuggets just to get your memory going, because before I give you the clue, the solution, it's so simple. But the problem with simple solution is people are not respecting them and not implementing them. So I give you the context for the simple solution so that you understand how important and deep it is. What you resist persists. Our brain has a negativity bias. We are avoiding everything negative, which makes us resist things like these voices stuck in the crevices in our brain. On one hand, we want to avoid them because they are painful, but because we avoid them, they resist. Are you following? So now comes the $10 million self-coaching question. I thought this morning, and now you can laugh even more, Linda. I have the biggest insights on my toilet. In the case that I culturally offend anyone, I'm sorry, but I am German and like straight cock, so I'm very straight here. I believe there's magic when you are under the shower and the ions of the water are flushing around you. And I also believe there's magic when you have a real good, successful session in your restroom, on your toilet. It is a bit like you release something and on the bottom of your body, and then you have this vacuum on the top of your body, and poof! It's like you pull in the wisdom of the universe and you have these amazing ahas. I mean, seriously, is it only mine experience, or do you have
so glad
too,
it's
right?
not just me.
It's not just him. No.
I certainly love the metaphors. I'll have to try that.
I remember back 70s, 80s in Germany, we had, a phase of all this graffiti in public restroom stalls, where the internal walls were all full of scribbles. Sadly, a lot of stuff was stupid and ugly and littering and all. But sometimes they were really cool quotes of wisdom. And we had, I remember a phase where books came out with photos, like a journey through Germany, from public restroom to public restroom, with photos of all these interesting quotes. And then there were books created where you can write in your own toilet quotes. And then, it was like a phase where you could buy toilet paper rolls deliberately made out of kind of toilet paper, which were good to write on, with a little holder for pins, so that in the restroom when you were sitting there you could write your memoirs or your insight on a rolling toilet paper. Brilliant. I think it's
never heard of that before.
Maybe it's a German thing, right? We are just thinkers, And there's this famous ancient Greek sculpture, I think it's from Michelangelo, called The Thinker, a muscular guy who has his, I think he sits on a tree trunk. I think it was not a tree trunk. I think it was a bucket where he was, doing his business. But Michelangelo was not allowed to be that naturalistic, so he made the thinker sit on a rock or on a stump. It should have been a bucket, a toilet seat, because this is the place where I have my big insight.
I see a good meme there, Sylvia.
Me too. Yeah, maybe I hire a firework designer to create a woman being the big thinker. So,
We can do t-shirts.
yes, t-shirts, absolutely, yeah. So my headquarters is not my home office, but my restroom, because I have the biggest, yeah, we have to come up with some nice slogans. So homework for next week, come up with some genius quotes where we get our best ideas. So when the solution is more or less the opposite of, instead of what we resist persists, what do we need to do? We need to face it. We need to look at it. We need to feel it. And here it comes, the $2 million, $10 million self-coaching question, which got, for me, this voice out of my head immediately. The question is, what am I resisting to feel when it comes to XYZ? Yeah, and XYZ is whatever the thought, the judgment, what the situation, the person is. What am I resisting to feel regarding blah, blah, blah? What am I resisting to feel? Because our brain is so protective and has this negativity bias. It wants to protect us from a negative in the brain means unpleasant experience. In my case last week, I realized when I asked myself, what am I resisting here to feel? What is the underlying theme or emotion about this exchange with that person on the Facebook Messenger? And for me, it was betrayal. Because it reminded me on a situation decades ago where a girlfriend at high school betrayed me, literally betrayed me. And I know even that this is not only just my theme, there's even a lineage theme, because my mother got betrayed by her best girlfriend in her early 20s, literally walking into a situation where her best girlfriend and her partner at that time did something they were not supposed to do together. So that I realized, oh my gosh, my pain, my brain tried to protect me from by keeping this voice churning, was to protect me from not going really into it and feeling the pain of betrayal, because it's ugly, it really hurts, and it brought a few tears up when I allowed myself to feel it. So what am I resisting to feel regarding da 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 da? I realized this morning, if the universe would rain down a strange spell on me, and you all know there he is, Marilyn. You found, look, I mean, can you clearly say what he's sitting on, right? Now forever you will see he's sitting, on something to make his business, right? This is why the thinker is so famous and has these great ideas. So I realized this morning, if the universe would rain down a weird spell on me, and you all know I work as a coach, you know what the key instrument of a coach's toolbox is? The key tool as a coach? What do coaches use the most, or say the most, or do the most? What is the coaching tool?
How do you feel?
Yine. It's asking questions. Asking questions. Yeah, questions is the tool. Asking questions, helping people to raise awareness, etc. Asking questions is the #1 coaching tool. So if the universe wanted to, rain a strange spell on me and would forbid me to ask all questions, all 28,315 questions I have in my brain as a coach after 23 years, and I could live for the rest of my life only asking one question to everyone I ever coach, it would be this one. What are you resisting to feel regarding, and then whatever the topic is, not even just judgment voices, but whatever it is. You struggle financially, well, what are you resisting to feel when it comes to money? You have marriage issues. Well, what are you resisting to feel when it comes to your marriage? You are scared to launch a new project in your career or business. Well, what are you resisting to feel regarding the launch of your new project? Ooh, you have health problems and your body is flaring up with pain. What are you resisting right now to feel in your life? So this question for me, it was this morning like, hallelujah. I mean, it was like, whoa. Yeah, it's just like, that's it. Because when what we resist persists, and we in coaching and self-growth and evolution is all about productive change, wow. If I commit myself in my own life and inspire all of you to just feel what we are resisting to feel in every moment when we go through life, something triggers us, something hurts us, someone says to us, and we just feel it and we face it and release it by feeling it in the moment, and we become I'm looking for the right English word, like a sieve, you know, where things can go through. So you feel it, you recognize it, but you also let it go. You're not carrying it with you for 30 years till you end up in front of the divorce lawyer. If that would be our daily discipline, oh my gosh, hallelujah. We all would be, yeah, we would move towards enlightenment, because that is, and hi Carol, I see you, beautiful to see your name popping up here. When I've read a ton of beautiful books in the realm of spirituality, meditation, praying, more religious books, more spiritual books, and the term surrender is at the essence and core of a lot of spiritual traditions. Surrender, 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 surrender. And sadly, a lot of these books are beautiful to read, are often very abstract. I didn't often knew, okay, I got it. Surrender is the path to a good life, path to enlightenment, but how the heck do I surrender? What is that? How do you do that? What is the activity? Surrender? Yeah, I mean, good. I mean, I know, and you know, a hot love situation, I know how I can surrender. Yeah, but surrender in a situation, in a business situation, boardroom, someone says something mean or stupid, surrender. What is surrender in everyday life, in a professional context? A client is mad and threatens to sue you, or your boss is mad at you and threatens to fire you. How do you surrender? What does that mean? How do you do that? Well, my answer, and I don't say this is written into stone for everyone, is now in the moment, training myself to stop resisting so that things I don't want stop persisting, and to train myself to feel what my brain automatically wants to resist to feel. And I can't believe I'm talking here already over half an hour. Amazing.
So may I ask you a question, Sylvia?
Yes, please.
With your concrete example of last week, reading through or listening to the first 12 seconds of those weird messages, what did you start feeling that allowed you to surrender?
So I asked myself, what am I resisting here to feel? And because I have used that question in the past and I have trained myself. So for me, it's now pretty fast and easy that I get literally a clear answer. So for me, it was, let me quickly think about the word. The third word which came up when I asked myself this morning was grief about the loss of a friend, because I considered that person a friend who did that. And what she accused me makes me now feel there's a crack in the friendship, because I'm now a bit scared regarding trusting her. So there was grief, was the first layer. Grief of losing a quality of friendship I thought I have with that person. Grief. That was the moment. That was with emotions. It's a bit like with onions. When you start feeling into emotions, they have these layers like an onion. And it's even with onion, when you peel them, you start crying. So when you do good emotional work, I cry. So the first layer was the grief about what's going on in the relationship between that person and me, and feeling a sense of loss. I lost a bit of innocence in that relationship. And I lost a bit of trust in that relationship. So the first pain I didn't want to feel was grief. And then I allowed myself to feel through the grief. And this is a cool thing with emotions. When you allow yourself to feel through them, you get into a deeper layer. And then I got into the deeper layer, which was beyond that person, which was like history, the chain of events through my life and even my mother's life, and probably my mother's life. So there's a lineage theme of betrayal, the pain of being betrayed, betrayed. So, and because it was this morning, literally on my way getting ready here to meet you all, I will go back tonight and do a bit more work, including my mom and my grandmother in me, to do some healing work on their behalf as well. Because I know this is a different topic, but I know that our individual minds, brains are connected with the collective, and we can heal even things in our lineage which happened before our lifetime. Because time and space are sort of, depending what worldview you have, illusions, and time in my world is not essentially linear. It's linear in our everyday life and how we manage time, but the essence of time is not linear. So you can heal here and now things which have happened before you were born, in my world. And you don't need to believe me when I say these kind of big things, but I'm just answering how I operate. So these were the two layers of emotions. And when I'm through the betray, maybe there's another emotion. So the danger, to make a bit of a disclaimer, sometimes is you also need to know when to stop with your own self-feeling work, because there are people who can spend a lot of time in that and find layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. You have to live too, right? So you have to know when something is enough, and then just literally breathe it out. Choose to let go. And the choose to let go is possible when you have felt enough. This is such a good test. So when you feel through stuff you are normally resisting to feel, and you feel starting like, oh, come on, I mean, I'm getting bored here, or I'm done with that. You can choose to let go of these thoughts and emotions. And when they disappear, then you know, yes, your choice works because you have felt them enough. If you choose to let something go, but it is stubborn and sticky, like an ugly chewing gum under your shoe, then you know there is something else or another layer and you have not felt enough. But please don't keep, I mean, theoretically you can spend your life in bed and feeling through all the traumas of your own life and all your family members and all your friends, and then you lose your life, right? So feeling has its importance, but you need to know when to stop too. Does that answer it, Marilena? Awesome. Another question? Someone else to what we discussed, what I taught today, not so much discussion. So who of you feels empowered to literally, when we finish here, test this and do this? Who of you thinks, okay, I can start to ask myself the question, what am I resisting to feel here? And then literally sit and feel till, yeah? 1, 2, 3, I see another, someone else nodding. Awesome. Those of you not on video, you can use also the emoticons. There's on the bottom in your screen a thing saying reaction that you can have thumbs up or a heart. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So then, if there are no more questions for today, I officially want to end our series of Stop the Judge-Mania and how to be more kind to ourselves. We had 3 sessions in the last 3 weeks with several important distinctions, and today we added the component or the perspective. What do we do with the things which come from outside, the judgments, and if they get stuck and hurt ourselves? So we allow ourselves to let go of them by feeling what we are resisting to feel, which these words triggered. And to maybe complete that, why is our brain thinking so much about it? This is the brain design. On one hand, negativity bias, then the design to protect our survival. And by repeating the thoughts, the brain, the ego part, which is committed to our survival, believes, oh, I keep Sylvia in alert state. I keep Wanda awake. I keep Marilena thinking about it. So repeating it is, so this is for everything. When your brain repeats things, the brain thinks it's doing you a good positive service by reminding you on something you have not cleaned up. You have not integrated or released. Yeah, so, yeah, so when you feel you go nuts because something is repeating in your brain, you need to ask yourself, what do I have to let go of? And what do I need to feel, what I'm normally resisting underneath that in order to let it go of? Because letting go is such, again, this is such a powerful advice I've read in my 20s in all the first self-help books. Oh my gosh, it was like the key thing. Just let go of it. Let go, let go, let go. And again, I had like secretly my middle finger up to all these big authors and gurus, like, great, it hurts. How shall I let this go? It's stuck in my heart and I'm crying, I'm in pain. Seriously, I didn't find at that time a lot of good books who explained their big advice, let go of it. And there was one word which I found always like a slap in my face, an English word with 4 letters, starts with J in the sentence of let go. It was just let go. Marilena, you're peeing your pants, you know what I mean? There are also so many good meaning people who say, oh, you're still angry about blah, blah, blah. Oh, just let go. If letting go were that easy, less men would die of prostate cancer and have had ulcers, and less women had heart attacks. And I mean, we all would be more happy and healthy if letting go were that easy. So if someone uses the word just with me, it's not easy to let go of something when your brain is wired to hold on to it, hold on to the painful thought or experience till she has the courage to feel through it. Then you can let go. Yeah, so if you read a self-help book and you find the word just, burn the book, email the author, send them to me. Seriously, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to millions of people worldwide who are in pain about something in their life and they can't let go. To tell someone who can't let go, just let go, is an affront. That's the French, affront. It's a slap in the face. It's disrespectful. So can we please delete the word just out of the word just let go? And if you ever pay money for a coach who tells you, oh, let go of it, even without the judge, or just, oh, let go of it, ask for your money back. If they are not explaining to you precisely what you need to do or should be doing or could be doing in order to be empowered to let go. Gosh, there is so much superficial, not working success advice BS online. It's unbelievable. So let me take a deep breath. Come back to my enlightened kind self. And let me tell you, your brain is always on your side. Your brain is dedicated to your survival. And you are responsible for your happiness. So sometimes you have to go actively against the wiring of your brain. Your brain often wants you not to feel things because they are so uncomfortable to feel. And this is now something I said, I think 2 times in recent weeks. Your ability to be willing to feel, I'm slightly differentiating now my own quote, your ability to become comfortable, to feel through the uncomfortable moments and situations and things in your life determines the power of your leadership and determines the success of your leadership. Hi, Volanyo. Hi, my dear. I think you are living in a country which has not yet changed to summertime. We are finishing right now. We are in the last final seconds. I'm sorry, but you will get the replay on the YouTube channel. So I'm repeating my last thought for Volanyo to hear it too, because this is a big theme. This is not an easy topic, and that's maybe for another training. So I'm repeating this important quote, and then I will stop the recording, and we have a few more minutes here to clean up some community housekeeping. So the quote, slightly in variation from my last time using it a few weeks ago, integrating what we did here today regarding feeling what you normally resist to feel, your ability to train yourself to feel through uncomfortable situations, emotions, judgments, whatever it is, your ability to train yourself to become comfortable with uncomfortability determines your power as a leader and your success. In everything, in every area of your life. Career, business, politically, money, love, health management. I'm in the moment, for example, working on healthy habits regarding fitness. I want to get back into walking, and I'm working on myself getting back into 3 times a week Pilates. And there is a phase of super uncomfortability with sore muscles and stiffness and slight pain and my body screaming and my lazy identity not wanting to go, etc. So moving through this phase of uncomfortability is crucial for my long-term success. And again, our brain or our inner child wants us to be happy and free and easy now. So the inner child is always living short-term, but the mature adult leader in you who has long-term achievements and goals you want to accomplish, you need to train yourself to move through the short-term uncomfortability to get to where you want. And we have more people joining us here. Welcome, welcome. This is sadly a time zone shift situation here today. Last week and this week, we were globally a bit out of sync, depending in which country you are living. Here in the United States, we already have summertime. In some other countries, you are not yet switched to summertime. But next week on, we should be again in sync. So that means when you just came in, Volanyo and Randy, I'm so happy to see you popping in. We are literally in the final seconds here of finishing. You will find the replay of today's session in our YouTube channel, the Juicy Life Leader TV, under youtube.com/Sylvia Becker-Hill, my name without the hyphen. And next week, we are all, I think, all again in the same time zone. But if you're in a country which doesn't switch at all to summertime, you always will be now, as long we are in here in the United States in summertime, 1 hour earlier. So wherever you're living, whatever time you have right now on your clock, we started an hour before what you see right now. So just to be clear, next week we should be aligned again. And in my invitation, I make the effort. I'm not perfect, sometimes I miss it, but I put in different time zones. And also for all of you working on Zoom with people in different time zones, my favorite app is World Time Buddy, worldtimebuddy.com. It also comes as a free little app on your phone, and it is very visual. You can put in different cities in different countries, and then you have a slider where you put literally, you put the slider on your time, and then you see all the other time zones under it. Really absolutely brilliant. Thank you everyone for those who joined in here live, on time or late. Even when you're late, I so appreciate your efforts. Wanda, you have a question?
Where do I post? I did all of 3.
Oh my gosh, you did all 3. This is amazing. So you can
have something else that I was already committed to. So
awesome.
I want to know where I post all my comments. I have so many comments.
Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. So you choose if they are not too intimate that you want the world to know them. You can comment in YouTube under each episode what you took from it, what you learned. If that is too public for your liking, you as a woman are a member of the Women's Empowerment Group on Facebook. You can share them there under our replay video posts. If you are a man here and you also want to share, we have a second group for the Juicy Life Leader Facebook group. Or if it's super intimate, or you want to share everything, you can make photos of your handouts and email them to me, or send them via Facebook Messenger. If you want me to witness all your work, Wanda, I would be delighted to see what you note. So these are the options: publicly, YouTube.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Every time I was thinking, I wasn't live, but I was like, oh, just everything you said just went to my heart.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. So with that being said, everything hopefully goes to your heart and deeply into your mind. I hope it empowers you to be a better, more juicy leader in your life. I see you next week, 9 a.m. Pacific, wherever you are in the world. I hope we are again aligned summertime wise. And please share the sign up link, juicylifeleader.com/free training, one word, so that others get the invitations too. And last moment, if anyone has a request for next week, anyone from what we discussed or something you struggle in your life in the moment as a leader with, what would you want me to discuss next week? Otherwise, I mean, I have always a lot of topics, but anyone a request, a desire? This doesn't seem to be the case. I watch in the moment daily the news from different countries on YouTube. So, and there's a lot of steering up in the moment globally. It gets tense and tight again. So I will see what the zeitgeist intuitively tells me will serve you next week the best. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy. And I see, Wanda, I see you in an hour again to a next free workshop, which I think is now too late to sign up, but you are signed up. Awesome. I do a lot of public speaking right now to empower people. I have a calendar, and it's where you can subscribe. So email me or reach out on Facebook, and I give you the link to my online calendar so that you get informed about everything I'm offering for free in public, where you can sign up so that you don't miss anything. Also, make sure you follow me on Facebook personally. If you reach out to join, become friend with me on Facebook, and we don't share yet friends, it's high likely that I will refuse to accept you because I don't know you. So if you reach out to me on Facebook and we have not been connected, make sure that you also send me a message or something, because I get obviously every day a ton of requests, and I click those away where there is not an overlap of friends. Okay, everyone, have an awesome week. Love you and see you next week. Bye, Walanyo, Liz, Linda, Wanda, Marilena, Carol, Randy. Bye, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.